Okay, this video is, does atrazine cause Parkinson's disease? So atrazine is the mitochondrial inhibitor. It's a herbicide sprayed typically onto corn. It's also sprayed on the lawns. It's also sprayed onto a lot of golf courses and probably a bunch of other crops. I don't know the other ones. Okay, but the relevance is not only is it highly estrogenic. This is the one that turns the male frogs into female frogs. This is the one, the black guy, Tyrone Hayes at Harvard, when he figured this out, they said, you better shut up and not publish that. He published it anyways. Then they took away his grant money. They tried to fire him and stuff. He refused to back down. It's a great story. But anyways, this is what we're talking about, atrazine. So it's also a mitochondrial inhibitor. Great. So that would also indicate it's probably neurotoxic. And guess what? It's more than neurotoxic. It's very neurotoxic. Here's 3 quick papers. Elevated Parkinson's, pathological markers in dopamine neurons with developmental exposure to atrazine. So here's just one quick paper. I found these in 5 seconds, okay? The way you can find these papers is you go to Sarah Leeny's paper on endocrine disrupting chemicals being also neurodisrupting in 80% of the cases and thyroid disrupting in 20% of the cases. And then he's got all these clickable links. I mean, you could just amuse yourself for a week going through all the toxicities of all these estrogenic chemicals. Okay, so let's see what else we got to say here. So here's another paper. Inflammatory reaction regulated by microglia plays a role in atrazine-induced dopamine neuron destruction in the substantia nigra. So this is a big statement. The reason people get Parkinson's disease is they have destruction of the substantia nigra, the little black neurons in the midbrain, okay? And so what he's saying here is it activates microglia. Microglia are the macrophages, the immune system cells, the security guards of the brain. All right, and the fact that atrazine is activating them, that's very, very bad. You want your microglia sitting around in what's called M0, M0 phase, not doing anything, just sort of going over their daily business, okay? Or you want them in M2 phase, anti-inflammatory phase. You don't want them in activated M1 phase where they're going around destroying things and they're releasing toxic chemicals like opening up their inducible nitric oxide synthase for the bad type of nitric oxide, the part that stays on too long and then upregulates combinations into peroxynitrite. Let's just say combinations into peroxynitrite. So anyways, taken together, our findings suggest that microglial activation might be involved in the dose and time-dependent atrazine-induced dopamine neurodegeneration in the substantia nigra. It's destroying neurons, and most people don't know this. You don't hear about Parkinson's patients being told they can never eat non-organic food. You won't get atrazine in food that's organic. Okay, here's another paper. Neurotoxicity effects of atrazine induced in human dopaminergic cells via microglial activation. Again, microglial activation. So this is big stuff. That's really bad. Anything that activates microglia is really bad. Here it says, atrazine is neurotoxic. It reduces dopamine levels in the substantia nigra and the corpus striatum in the midbrain, affects the absorption. Okay, so it's all bad. Okay, so just be aware of that. That's why I think it's a mistake to say that it's okay to eat non-organic food. You want to keep it to a minimum. And certainly don't eat stuff that's going to be sprayed with atrazine. I would definitely not eat non-organic corn. That would be a big, stupid thing to do. Whereas lots and lots of processed food, it's full of this atrazine-sprayed corn, high fructose corn syrup, making all kinds of things.